I got new skates. So these are the USD Carbon 2018 team skates, and they look pretty incredible. I want to give a huge thanks to my supporters on Patreon for helping me get the funds to buy these skates for review. So USD is probably one of the oldest aggressive skate companies out there. They started back in the 90s making the Throne, probably the most iconic USD skate. One of the most iconic aggressive skates. It was the first skate that really lets you change the skate, modify it, add new frames, add new sole plates, things like that. Huge success. Lots of great riders skated for that company, and they made the USD Throne into this, again, this iconic skate. Fast forward a few years, and they decided to start a new brand called Deshi. Deshi was, after a few different skates from USD, their attempt to do something a little more high-end. And they came out with the Deshi Carbon. The Deshi Carbon was essentially the grandfather of this USD Carbon. So Deshi and Carbon are a carbon skate. They also make a plastic version called the Carbon Free, but this is the carbon skate. And the way that is different than normal skates is that this bottom area, rather than a normal skate being a plastic shell, which is just, the whole thing is plastic and you put a liner inside, you lace it up and you mount the frames to the bottom. That's a fairly standard skate. This is different. So this is a carbon skeleton. So this whole area around here is carbon, and this leather material is kind of like a shoe, kind of like a skin that goes around the carbon. So your foot is nice and secure in the carbon, but then it's really comfortable because it has this really nice leather, I don't know what material this is, but some sort of a material skin that you can tighten it down and get it really nice and comfortable. The greatest thing about these skates is the performance, and I've heard that the responsiveness that you get with these skates is just incredible. Obviously, they're a little bit more expensive. This is like a $400 boot only. They sell them boot only. I put on the 50/50 Jon Fromm frames. Full disclosure, I do own 50/50. They are my preferred frame, and they are the frame that I use for all of my testing and my reviews, so that I have the same frame design for every single review, and I know what I'm reviewing and how it compares. So the USD Carbon, it has an internal liner. This internal liner is part of the skate, so you can't take it out. It is built into the skate. Now the negative to that obviously is if you skate this a lot, and if you wear out this insole liner thing, it's going to suck, and you're going to have to replace the skate. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, especially with the amount of time that I skate. You can heat mold this. I have not. So this is as is out of the box. They do recommend that you heat mold it if you have any fit issues, but because I haven't skated these yet, I don't want to jump to conclusions and start heat molding them prematurely. I want to see what it feels like out of the box. It does feature a 45-degree strap. Now, for those of you who have followed my channel for a while, you know that I love a 45-degree strap. This thing keeps my foot secure. I hate heel lift. So that means when you're skating and you can feel your heel lifting up inside your boot, this 45-degree strap sucks your foot back into the heel of the skate, and it makes it nice and solid. It's going to feel like this frame is attached to your foot versus your foot sliding into a boot. That is the worst feeling. So I'm hoping that this feels like that. The build quality of this is really impressive. The carbon looks clean. Obviously, the materials are amazing. This is the 2018 version. They do have a 2019 and a 2020. I think it's actually the 2019. I don't know that there is a 2020, but it's like 2019, 2020. It is a brown version. They've made these in a bunch of different styles and colors, but the overall design hasn't changed very much. It still has the 45-degree strap. It still has the buckle with the plastic cuff. It still has the carbon and the skin. So I feel comfortable reviewing this 2018 version and knowing that it's going to feel very similar for the 2019, 2020. So one of the great things about these carbon skates is that it is a flat-soled boot. What that means is the bottom of the shell is completely flat. So the frame bolts that I use in the back are the same as the frame bolts that I use in the front. Now that will give you a lean back ride if you have the right heel pad. And this is the heel pad that comes with the USD Carbon. So this is a insole, you call it a heel pad, but it is an insole and heel pad combined. So the back of this is really thick. I don't know how thick, but probably like 15 mil or so. And the front is only like 2 mil. So it's going to give you a really nice heel lift, not too crazy like a Razor's Shift or a Razor's SL or a Rollerblade New Jack. It should feel like I'm just relaxed. It shouldn't feel like I'm falling backwards, which is a bad feeling. And it shouldn't feel like I'm falling forward, which I know a lot of people like. For me personally, I like having it just a little bit, kind of like Goldilocks, just a little bit. But the brilliance of this is that you can always adjust it if you need to. So if you want a little bit more heel lift, you could put a little riser under here and make it lift up a little bit more. If you want a little less heel lift, you could take this out and replace it with your own insole. The boot doesn't dictate what the heel lift is. The boot is completely flat. So that material that used to be used for a heel lift, made out of plastic, made out of whatever material, now is made out of a nice, soft, squishy material, which means that it's going to feel better when you're doing gaps. Your heels will have more cushion. And finally, the Soleplate. So this Soleplate looks really nice. It is completely flush, and one of the concerns that I have is that the only way that this frame gets mounted to this boot is with the 2 bolts. So there's only 2 points of contact that are keeping this frame to this boot. This Soleplate acts kind of like a little piece of meat in between a frame and a boot sandwich. It doesn't do anything. All that it adds is the slide and the groove. But there's no mounting on this. If I took this frame off, this Soleplate would just fall off. There's nothing keeping it to the boot. And that's not great. That's the way that it is in the Seba CJ. I don't know that that's ideal. The way that they are in the Adapt, which is another carbon boot, is that it also has bolts that secure the Soleplate to the boot. I feel like that's going to be a little bit more responsive, but I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference. The Soleplate looks great though. There is a slight angle, so I should be getting a little bit of that juice feeling. It's a nice little divot for a groove, and it lines up perfectly with my Royale. And I'm extremely excited to give them a shot. All right, so these are the size 44, 28.5 centimeters. I think they feel perfect. I have plenty of room for my toes to wiggle, but I feel like my foot is pretty secure in the heel. Maybe a little bit of rubbing and pressure on the inside of the cuffs. Like the cuff going up high, I can feel it a little bit higher on my ankle, but no comfort issues, no fit issues. My foot is 28.5, so these should be perfect for me. Real quick airs feel good. The shocks feel great. I did have, when I was testing the Adapts, I did have some shock when I was doing 180s and just regular airs with 90A wheels. These are the 90A Stefan Brando Fitty Fitty wheels. And I'm not getting that with these. So either that means there's less carbon or there's more padding, one or the other. But I definitely feel more cushioned when I'm doing airs in these skates than I did with the Adapts. They felt a little bit more shocky. All right, let's try some grinds. All right, these feel pretty solid. Yeah, I didn't miss. The soles are nice and wide. The angle, when you lock that juice angle, that angle that goes up, sucks you in, and it really felt like I was locking solid. They were a little slow. This is a pretty bad ledge. The run up here is really rough, and you have to do a quick 90-degree turn right here in order to hit the ledge. So my speed is much less than I would bring at any other ledge, but I'm used to it sliding, and I just waxed it, and I could feel that it was a little slower. Brand new Soleplate, so again, take it with a grain of salt, but they did feel a little slow. All right, groove tricks. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, these feel amazing for groove tricks. I mean, Royale, I kind of assumed that would feel good, but back Royale, geez. I don't think I've ever balanced that well on this ledge. It just felt like I sat down and I could take it for as long as I wanted. I think it's the way that the Soleplate is designed. The fact that it comes out wide, but it also has this really flat area. It lets me sit back on that Soleplate rather than just on the anti-rocker wheels. Feels just amazing. And even my back farv. I struggled with back farvs the last time I was here. No issues whatsoever. This was just smooth sailing. All right, topside tricks. Here we go. Holy moly. I cannot believe how solid topside tricks feel with these skates. I'm impressed. I'm definitely impressed. So I could feel with my top acid that I was leaning forward more than I should. And you could tell that by my top side foot locking fine, but then I was just missing on my front side foot, or my acid foot, I guess. I think that's because I was used to skating a raised heel boot. I've been skating the 909s, and before then I was skating the 908s. So there's a slight more lean back with these skates, and I feel like when I'm jumping on, I'm not compensating for that, which leads me to lean forward more. But tell you what, once I figured it out, that top acid felt so solid. I feel like if I go back to my other spots where I could really skate fast, I'm gonna love these skates. As you know, I usually take a whole month to skate these skates. With COVID, it's a little weird, but I'm gonna do everything that I can to skate, be safe. If I get locked down, I'll skate in my backyard. But man, first impression is pretty amazing. These skates feel great. I am getting a little bit of rubbing on the inside of the cuffs, and I don't know that that is normal or something that will break in, but it is not pain. It's just there's a pressure point. If I were skating these all day, I might have a blister there, or it might break in and feel good. I don't know. I have a hard time skating more than an hour. I'm old and I get tired, and it's friggin' hot here. But yeah, highly recommend these. I think, unless they fall apart on me in the next month, I see no reason why you shouldn't pick up a pair. I don't know what the carbon free will feel like compared to this. I do want to try these on an area that I can do some airs, do some carving around bowls, maybe even put some bigger wheels on to see what that feels like. But strictly for aggressive, I'm able to do all my tricks. Why wouldn't I recommend them? If you aren't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe so that you can see how this progresses. I upload every week, and I will have a review on these USD Carbons at probably 6 weeks from now. Thank you all so much for watching, and hope you're safe, and I'll see you next time.